Hi guys, welcome to week 10 of class. This week we arrive, at least for those of you who are excited about World War II, at the war itself. I hope you enjoyed last week's content, which attempted to lay the framework and the context for why and how this war began, both in Europe and for the United States. Of course, December 7th, 1941 sort of put an end to America's isolationist position, and we declare war on Japan, and because the Nazis under Hitler are allied with Japan, the Axis powers, of course, the Axis powers will declare war against the United States, who will then ally itself with the Allied forces. And so this week we're going to be taking a look at the holistic nature of World War II. And that means I'm going to be looking at the impact of the war on the home front, which is really something I'm more interested in as a scholar as opposed to the actual fighting. But we're going to take a look at the home front, and we're going to assess some of the ways that the war influenced the United States back here on our continent. And so we're going to be taking a look at the way that the war impacted female labor and women in the workforce. We're going to be looking at the way that the war played into issues of race, particularly among African Americans. And we'll also take a look at how the war affected the American economy. And there's also going to be some time to look at some war propaganda, largely made by Walt Disney, but there's a number of others as well. And once we finish that, then we'll take a look at the fighting itself. And it's going to be more of a cursory overview. I'm not a military historian, and so I'm going to give you the nuts and bolts as much as I can. And we're going to be taking a look first and foremost at the war on the Western Front and sort of tracing America's and the Allied forces move from South Africa into Italy, and then we sweep back up north into France, and then ultimately into Germany. And of course we will be allied with the Soviet Union at the same time, who will be fighting Hitler in the East. In fact, one of the most cataclysmic battles of the war, probably the most cataclysmic battle of the war, the United States didn't fight in, which is Stalingrad, which occurred in Russia. And then we will also take a look at the wars, or the battles rather, in the Pacific, and then we will assess the final ramifications of the atomic bomb upon Hiroshima and Nagasaki. There are 3 videos I want you to watch this week, or rather it is 2 videos. One you started watching last week, and I think you watched about 5 minutes and 30 seconds of it. So go ahead and pick that film up at 5 minutes 30 seconds and watch the rest of it. And then there's another film I want you to watch. For those of you who are more interested in looking at the military component, and if you answer this week's discussion question, there's actually 2 questions you can answer. I'm giving you an option this week. One has you look at the home front, one has you look at the military component. And for those of you who choose to look at the military component, the film is optional, but if you wanted to heighten and strengthen your arguments and strengthen your answer there, you definitely could look at that other video, which is on the military components in Europe. And so lots of stuff to look at this week, and so get through all that, and then as I said, there is an option for your discussion board this week, so choose one of the 2 to answer. And make sure that you provide a full assessment. I'm not just looking for 3 or 4 sentences. I'm looking for a full-on assessment with specific details. So I think that's all I got for you this week. The only thing I would encourage you to do at this point is just to begin working on your paper if you haven't already done so. Start the research, start the outlining, and get going on that. So, but other than that, I think that's it. So as always, go in peace, be warm and filled, and may the force be with you. All right, be blessed, guys.